Hello guys, I am Rajdeep and you are watching Study SUCCOUR. Eyes in the sky, gazing far. Today we will discuss about units. What are units and its types, its importance in everyday life, and different systems of units as well as the important rules of writing them, etc. etc. The question comes, why should we discuss about units? Now let me tell you one thing. When we ask what are units, we mean what are units of a quantity or what are units of a physical quantity. So from here we get a new term, measurement. In order to accurately measure a quantity that we call a physical quantity, we require a unit. So before we proceed to unit, let me give you a brief explanation on physical quantity. So let's begin. In a qualitative respect, physical quantity is a universal characteristic of many physical objects, that is, of physical systems, states of such physical systems, and processes occurring in such systems. In a quantitative aspect, physical quantity is anything that can be measured. So, physical quantity is a property of a material or system that can be quantified by measurement. A physical quantity can be expressed as a combination of a numerical value as well as a unit. For example, mass, length, time, temperature, etc. So, there are two types of physical quantities, scalar quantity and vector quantity. The quantity which has only magnitude but no direction is called a scalar quantity. For example, mass, length, time, etc. The quantity which has both magnitude as well as direction is known as a vector quantity. For example, weight of a matter, velocity, acceleration, etc. Now let's proceed to unit. The chosen invariable standard of same kind taken as reference in order to measure a physical quantity is called the unit of that quantity. In short, the chosen measuring standard of a quantity. Let me provide you with an example. Suppose there are two poles and the distance between them is 5 meters. That is 5 times a meter, where meter is the standard reference. Now in general, there are two types of units, fundamental units and derived units. There is another type of unit that is known as the supplementary units. I will come to that later. First let's discuss about fundamental and derived units. The units of physical quantities which are independent of each other and from which other units can be derived or obtained are called fundamental units. For example, units of length, mass, time, etc. So what did I say? From fundamental units, other units can be obtained. Here other units, I mean derived units. So derived units are obtained from fundamental units. The units of physical quantities which are derived or obtained with the help of one or more than one fundamental units are called derived units. Suppose here I have a fundamental unit of the physical quantity length, that is meter. So from this meter I can derive volume, that is m cube, m into m into m. So this derived unit volume is obtained from this unit meter, that is a fundamental unit. Hence we get a derived unit from a fundamental unit. It can also be for velocity, that is meter per second. So derived units can be obtained from different fundamental units and not the same. There are many examples of this. Suppose density, whose unit is kg per meter cube, which is a derived unit. Now density is obtained from mass by volume, where mass has a fundamental unit kg and volume has a derived unit m cube. Now this m cube is obtained from fundamental unit m, that is meter length. So by this we obtain density. A physical quantity which has a fundamental unit is known as fundamental physical quantity, and a physical quantity which has a derived unit is known as a derived physical quantity. Now there are many derived quantities, but a few fundamental quantities, which are length, mass, time, temperature, electric current, luminous intensity, quantity of substance, plane angle, and the last solid angle, whose fundamental units are meter, kilogram, second, Kelvin, ampere, candela, mole, radian, and steradian, with their symbols m, kg, s, caps k, caps a, cd, mole, rad, and sr. Now here in this table, the last two fundamental physical quantities are known as supplementary quantities and their units supplementary units. Now we will talk about the various systems of units. The first one, CGS, system of units, whose fundamental units are centimeter, gram, and second. The second one, MKS, system of units, whose fundamental units are meter, kilogram, and second. Now the third one, FPS, system of units, whose fundamental units are foot, pound, and second. Among these three systems, the MKS system of units is commonly used across the globe, so it is termed as the International Systems of Unit, the SI system of units. Now let's talk about some important rules for writing SI unit. Rule number 1. The symbol of the units are always written in Roman small letter. For example, kilogram, kg, meter, m, second, s, etc. If a unit is named after a person, the symbol is written in capital letter. For example, Newton, caps M, ampere, caps A, volt, caps V, joule, caps J, etc. Rule number 2. The symbols of the units are always used in singular form. For example, there is an object of 5 kg mass. We write 5 kg and not 5 kgs. Rule number 3. When temperature is expressed in Kelvin scale, degree sign is not used. That is, we write 300 K, that is 300 Kelvin as 300 K and not 300 degree K. But for Celsius scale and Fahrenheit scale, we use the degree. Rule number 4. Full stop, comma, etc. are not written after the symbols of the units. For example, we should write 5s, that is 5 seconds, and not 5s dot. Rule number 5. The multiplication of two units are written as symbols of the unit sequentially. For example, kgm, that is kg meter, Now the last rule, rule number 6. Units like meter per second is written as m/s or ms to the power minus 1, or in case of joule per Kelvin it is written as jk to the power minus 1 mole to the power minus 1 or j/k mole, but not j/k/mole. So guys, that's all for today. Do like, share and subscribe my channel Study SUCCOUR. If you are a student of the above mentioned categories and need online guidance, then feel free to contact on the number given on the poster for more technical details. Thank you.